I recently played through Donkey Kong Country once again, and was reminded of how many aspects of this game I enjoy. The tight platforming, the mostly fair difficulty, wonderful environments, I love everything. But upon playing this time, I realized something that I think I've always felt, but never quite understood. The composition by David Wise for this game is extraordinary. I'm not a music theorist, nor do I claim to be one, and I've never played an instrument save for a brief foray into trombone during my upper elementary years, but it's unmistakable to me that Aquatic Ambiance, the brilliant piece accompanying Donkey Kong Country's multiple water stages, is the crowning achievement of video game composition. I firmly believe that it is the greatest work of video game composition in the medium's relatively short history. The sheer genius of Aquatic Ambience lies in the form of its technical creativity and in its thematic and symbolic beauty. So to first understand why Aquatic Ambience is so impressive as a composition work, we need to examine the earliest years of video game music. During the first and second generations of consoles, music took almost no role in the medium. Home-based systems like Pong consoles, light gun games, and the famous Atari 2600 didn't have the technical capabilities to store particularly complex media in its memory. If any sound was used, it was usually saved for sound design. The gentle beeps and grating hums were the de facto environmental pieces for games of sheer simplicity. Pong didn't need music, it just needed to let the player know that the paddle worked. And that's not a bad thing. In the arcades, where technology was advanced enough to be able to handle both music and sound design, music didn't really matter that much. Cabinets were stored so close together, games constantly going all at the same time, players bustling and excitedly celebrating during the fervor that was the golden age of arcades. It really was an excited fever dream of interactive entertainment. Now, the third generation of consoles, most notably populated by the Commodore 64, the Sega Master System, and the Nintendo Entertainment System, is where music began to hold importance. Now the game was a complex, immersive experience that required an improved emphasis on music and sound design to involve the player in their newly home-based hobby. The third, and subsequently fourth, generations of video games were held back by immense technical limitations when it came to music. Memory was low, so each game could only hold a few songs, and each song was only able to access a few different instrument channels. But the talented still managed to create memorable works. Moving into the fourth generation of consoles, these limitations continued to exist, but in a different form. Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis sound chips still had extremely limited memory and still were bound to a certain channel count, albeit a slightly higher one. Rather than being able to store full music files in their games, composers had to build songs using clever programming and by sampling a few instrumental sound bites at a time. Aquatic Ambience takes full advantage of the sheer limitations of the medium. Even though beautiful songs exist in the following generations, none had to work with such extreme technical limitations that David Wise had to work with on the Super Nintendo. Aquatic Ambience is a marvel in technical composition achievement. By painstakingly taking 5 weeks to program each individual waveform into his composition, Wise was able to complete an unprecedentedly deep song with musical trends thought impossible. And the impossible begets the extraordinary. Aquatic Ambience is a beautiful piece of work, something that not only creates an outstanding visual symbology through its tones, but is able to complement the many themes of Donkey Kong Country in one motion. The rest of this podcast can be described as nothing else but a love letter to Aquatic Ambience. Aquatic Ambience, through its sweeping melody, its mystic background, and its glorious movement, beautifully encompasses the magnificent symbolism of oceanic waters, the beauty of crashing waves, the unknown wisdom of what lies beneath, an endless wonder pondered by mankind for generations. The attractive mystique and desirable elegance of the ocean is nearly impossible to encompass, yet a song from a 1994 Super Nintendo platformer acts as a guide to the unknowable. When you enter the first water level, Coral Capers, you're immediately transported into the wonders of the beneath. It's as though you have transported into the body of a child looking up towards an aquarium for the first time. The reflective waves have you in awe, a simple view of creatures swimming near you, yet untouchable and unknowable. The beauty and mystery of this newfound environment continue as you begin to move the Kongs throughout the simple introduction to the water. You don't have full control. You're floating, swimming, dancing around a navigable ocean. You feel as though you're performing a ballet on the ocean floor, the grace of the dance equally hindered yet amplified by the experience of weightlessness. As an audience populated solely by reef's surrounding, your dance grows one with the water with each heightening bound, eventually pirouetting into a drifting oceanic abode. Each note floats around you. Now, you are in the water. not just these avatar monkeys. Yet, as we reach the third water level of this game, Croctopus Chase, a new, more sinister meaning to the existential sea wave over the player. The pensive fear, accompanied by the endless unknown, begin to creep up on you. As you are swimming through the water, desperately attempting to swim faster in a medium mostly unbeknownst to you, as an unstoppable octopus rages behind you, you realize that something does not belong here. And it's you. You are merely a visitor in this ocean you cannot understand. You are no longer dancing. You are paralyzed in wonder. Why are you here? What's your purpose? As Verne and Hemingway attempted to capture the untamable nature of the sea through fiction, Donkey Kong Country inserts a player into the tense stranger of oceanic patterns. Yet as the chorus sweeps into existence, a glimmer of hope arrives, knowing that this is not the end. As you cannot tame the ocean cannot tame you. As strange as it may be, you exist as a yin and a yang with the environment, a primate not where they belong, yet a watery depth with an exit sign. Truly the power of immersion in video games. To continue along the theme of cohesion, Poison Pond brings a new meaning to the instrumentals of Aquatic Ambiance. The same beauty, the same grace, the same sounds that were most recently used to place the player in a moment of pensive fear now feel out of place. The water is different here. Where we were greeted with the stunning blues of clear waters in the past, we are now greeted by tainted greens. Animals and plants are now replaced with the machinery and only the most terrible of creatures. This is a level that highlights a through-line subtext of environmentalism. Poison Pond shows the dangerous effects of industrial waste on the natural wonderland of the aquatic. Yet, Aquatic Ambience continues to play its beauty. The song has helped teach us the choreographic charitability of oceanic intrigue. It has shown us the reflective fear of coexisting with the unknowable, and now it continues to play despite the hubris of an industrial world. The song is not out of place, the water is not out of place, and even now you are not out of place. The pollution is out of place, the machinery. And Aquatic Ambience strums on. As though to greet us like an old friend, as someone who will understand what we find beautiful about the expanse of water will be here after we are gone, that the beauty should be cherished, not destroyed. That while we may not be able to understand what the ocean has to offer, we can offer it the respect of fellow life. And as we exit Poison Pond, in the last appearance of Aquatic Ambience, we grow. The sweet SNES sound chip orchestra bids farewell, treating us to a relaxing reminder of true natural wonder. Aquatic Ambience may not hold as much praise as some of its predecessors or its successors. Many will say Stickerbush Symphony is the best song in the Donkey Kong Country discography. The truly orchestrated soundtracks of today may easily trump the instrumental prowess of the 1994 classic. However, given its sheer power and symbolism and the brilliantly clever programming to make it possible, Aquatic Ambience should be respected as an unprecedentedly great piece of video game composition. Thank you for listening. Love you, love yourself, love the world, and love the earth. Make today yours.